I would like to talk you today about renewable energy and the benefits it brings to us and our planet. Our planet has many challenges. Some of them are mitigation of climate change, population growth, global security, fight against poverty, rural energy supply, and electrification supply of clean water, virus. Renewables, of course, can help to us to mitigate, reduce or solve. President Barack Obama has said in Prague, Czech Republic, 50 April 2009. Now to protect our planet, now is the time to change the way that we use energy. Together we must confront climate change by ending the world's dependence on fossil fuels, by tapping the power of new sources of energy like the wind and the sun, and calling upon all nations to do their part. And I pledge to you that in this global effort, the United States is now ready to lead. Renewable energy continues to grow. 176 countries has defined renewable energy targets by 2016. Globally, there is a growing awareness that increased deployment of renewable energy is critical for addressing climate change and thereby creating new economic opportunities. Renewables also are an important element of the climate change adaptation, improving the resilience of existing energy systems and ensuring delivery of energy services under changing climatic conditions. By the end of 2018, more than 50 cities had set comprehensive renewable targets covering the power, heating and cooling and transport sectors. Renewable energy provided an estimated about 19% of global final energy consumptions in 2015. The most rapid growth and the largest increase in capacity occurred in the power sector, led by wind, solar PV, and hydropower. Growth has been driven by several factors, including renewable energy support policies and the increasing cost competitiveness of energy from renewable sources. The supply of biomass for energy has been growing at around 2.5% per year since 2010. The geothermal industry continues to face significant project development risk and various efforts and underway to ameliorate such risk in developed and developing countries. Geothermal energy global output was 78 terawatt-hours for power and about 79 terawatt-hours for heat in 2016. Several European cities, for example Munich, Paris, Bordeaux, are expanding the geothermal district heating network. Ocean energy capacity, mostly tidal power generation with some form of the pilot or demonstration projects. Hydropower is still giant among its peers. Global hydropower capacity reached over 1000 gigawatts. Solar PV is starting to play a substantial role in electricity generation in some countries, as rapidly decreasing costs have made subsidized solar PV generated electricity cost competitive with fossil fuels in an increasing number of locations around the world. The concentrating solar thermal power market remains less established than most other renewable energy markets. Wind power is the cheapest options for new power generation. Wind generated more than 20% of electricity in several countries, Denmark, Ireland and Portugal. 11 out of the 28 member states had a wind penetration rate of more than 10%. In recognition of the importance of renewable energy and energy efficiency for Sustainable Development. The United States General Assembly declared 2014 the first year of decade of sustainable energy for all. C for All aims to double the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix from a baseline share of 18% in 2010 to 36% in 2030. Global investment in renewable power and fuels without hydropower more than 50 megawatts was about 241 billion in 2016. Renewables outpaced fossil fuels for the sixth year running in terms of net investment in power capacity additions, with about 11 million jobs in 2019. Stronger position in terms of taking responsibility for climate change by the United States of America during 2 mandates of President Obama has resulted in the signing of the Paris Agreement of 2030, which opens new perspectives for renewables, especially in developing countries. It remains to be seen what lies ahead of us. Each renewable energy source has its own particularities. Hydropower, biomass, wind energy, solar energy, geothermal energy, tidal energy, wave energy, ocean thermal energy conversions. This also relates to healthy environment and landscapes. The focus here will be on only some specifics on wind energy. Wind turbines have some negative as well as positive impacts on the healthy environment. The possible negative impacts of wind turbine are visual impact, noise, fatal accidents involving birds and bats, shadow effects, and pollution during manufacturing and installing the wind turbines, as well as land use, electromagnetic interference, marine mammals. Each wind energy plant must complete an environmental assessment impact and monitoring measures. A number of studies have concluded that these impacts are minor or very easy to avoid. Wind turbines or windmills have been a feature of the landscape of Europe for more than 800 years. Wind turbines are highly visible elements with rotating blades in the landscape. The average installed power of an onshore wind turbine reached 3.1 megawatts in Europe in 2019. The main dimensions of some types of wind turbines you can see in the table below. In flat areas, wind turbines are often placed in a simple geometrical layout, while in hilly areas the turbines follow the altitude contours of the landscape and therefore they have a better layout. Big wind turbines with low blade rotation speed and similar size and type fit better in the surrounding than a greater number of small turbines with higher rotational speed. In terms of their visual effect and an environmental factor, large wind turbines produce the same amount of energy as large number of wind turbines with decreased power. In the first half of 2016, approximately 71% of the wind turbine erected in Germany had a hub height of more than 120 meters. Large modern wind turbines have become very quiet. In Denmark, there are several examples of birds nesting in cages mounted on wind turbine towers. Some birds get accustomed wind turbines very quickly, while others take a somewhat longer time. A number of environmental assessment impact and monitoring measure studies, including offshore wind farms, came up with the conclusions that birds almost always modify their migratory routes. However, migratory routes of birds should be taken into account when seating wind turbines. Wind energy plays an important role in helping nations reach Kyoto Protocol targets. Environmental benefits of wind electricity can be assessed in terms of avoided emissions compared to other alternative electricity generation technologies. The CO2 emissions related to the manufacturing, installing and servicing over the average 20 years life cycle of a wind turbine are offset after a mere 3 to 6 months of the operating, resulting in net CO2 saving thereafter. Wind energy is not only a favorable electricity generation technology that reduces emissions, it also avoids significant amounts of external cost of conventional fossil fuel-based electricity generation. Wind turbines and access roads in wind park occupy less than 1% of the area in a typical wind park. The table below shows land used by some power plant in terms of the power produced per square meter. One example. It's also nice to know. The average annual electricity consumption in households in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina is about 4,500 kilowatt hours per year. The average number of occupants in a household is 3.2. The output of a wind turbine depends mainly on the turbine's size and the wind's speed at the location of the wind park. An average wind turbine, of course, onshore with a capacity of, for example, 3 megawatts, can produce more than 6 million kilowatt hours per year for Bosnian wind conditions. It's enough to supply 1,338 average Bosnian households or 4,282 members of household with electricity. Thank you for listening.